Hello, this is Dr. Mears. Today we're going to be learning about inverse normal calculations. This is where we're going to be given the percentage or the probability, and we have to find the value. You have this sheet, you should have the sheet, is the steps. First is drawing a diagram, and it's either going to look like this or it might look like this. We might even have in between, which I'm going to show you. Then we have to change it to a decimal, and we run through these calculator steps. You also should have the video inverse normal calculations, where we are going to be doing our example right now. So here we go. Inverse normal calculations help us find a desired value when given the percentage or probability. Our example is about pairs. It's the weights of pairs are normally distributed with mean of 110 grams and a standard deviation of 4 grams. Part A, find the percentage of pairs that weigh more than 100 grams. This is a normal calculation. And the reason why this is a normal calculation is because we have to find the percentage. So this is just like what we were doing before, where we have to use our normal CDF. We put in the value they give us. It's more than, so we put the positive 90,000. We put in our mean and our standard deviation into our calculator, and we're going to get 0.993. Now this is the probability. They don't want the probability. They actually want the percentage. That's why I underlined it. To change it into a percentage, remember you just multiply by 100 and you get 99.3%, way more than 110 grams. 100 grams. More than 100 grams. There you go, nice little sentence at the end. Okay, now going from what we've done before into what we're going to be doing now, it is known that 10% of the pairs weigh less than m grams. So we do have less than. So first on that list was to draw a picture. Now less than is going to be on this side. Here is our 10%. And we don't know this value down here. That's what they want us to find. So there's your 10% less than, and that question mark is the value that we're going to be finding. So for our steps, going back here, we had to draw the diagram. As you know, the diagram's here. So if the area is more than, if they give you that in the question, you need to find less than. We're going to do an example next like that, but we have less than. So what do we do next? Change the less than percent to a decimal, and then we have to follow the calculator steps. So let's change this to a decimal. The decimal would be 0.10. We get that by dividing 10 by 100, or simply moving the little decimal point over to the left 2 places. So we divide it by 100 and we get that decimal number. So we're going to run an inverse norm. Inverse norm in our calculator. And what we're going to be putting in is the probability value, the less than in a decimal. Then we're going to be putting in the mean, which is 110, and the standard deviation. So I'm going to show you what that would look like on the calculator. Okay, so second bars, and see number 3 is our inverse normal, so we're going to push number 3. We put the less than decimal in, comma, followed by the mean, 110, comma, followed by the standard deviation, which is 4, enter. We get 104.87, so I'm going to go 104.9 grams, 104.9 grams. So M equals 104.9 grams. And that's it. That's how you do it. So let's go on to the second one. It is known that 20% of the pairs weigh more than m grams. Find the value of m. Again, this is inverse normal because there is a percentage given. So here's our diagram, and this is what it looks like here. When you have more than, this is our our 20% here. And we don't know what that value is. That's what we're going to find. We're going to find this value. What's the gram amount down here? So we don't want more than. We don't want that side. If they give you more than, you have to change it to less than. How you do that is you just subtract to get the less than percent, which is 80. So this side is 80%. Remember, they should add up to 100. So 80 plus 20 is 100. So we have the less than percent, so we're going to be changing the less than percent into a decimal. We're going to be running an inverse norm And we're going to be putting 0.80. Remember, changing 80 into a decimal, we can either divide by 100 or just move that decimal point over 2 places to the left, comma, 1104, mean standard deviation. So that number comes out to be 113.4 grams. So M equals 113.4 grams. So that means that at 113.4 grams, that's the number that's actually here, 113.4. 20% of our pears weigh more than 113.4 and 80% weigh less. That's what that means. Okay, let's go to D and E. For a pair chosen at random, the probability 110 minus this value A is less than the weight of the pair, which is less than 110 plus A equals 0.9. Find the value of A. This 0.9 is our probability because it has this P in front. This means probability, remember. So this is an inverse normal. We do have to find a value. But if you notice, the W is in between. So it might look a little bit weird. So they might not give you words in between. They might give you the symbols in between. So these are the symbols for in between. So what this looks like is here. This is 0.9 inside. Right there, 0.9. Okay. And so this is 110 minus A, and this is 110 plus A. We have no idea what the A is. Now, we don't want in between. We want this guy out here. This one right here, which is the less than. How to find that is, well, first we would actually subtract 1 minus 0.9 to get 1. That's just like doing our 100 minus 20 up here, just percents, but they're in decimals. That's 0.1. However, we have two sides. I just want one of them, so we have to divide it by 2, and that gets us to 0.5. Nope. Near C. What are you doing? 0.05. There we go. So this side is 0.05, and this side is 0.05. And remember, if you add all of these little decimals up, it should equal to 1, and it does. So to find in between, you're going to have to do 1 minus that number given, and then divide that by 2 because there are two sides. So if you want to write that down, you can. And that gives us our less than value. So here's our less than value. So we're going to run our inverse norm, 0.05, same mean, same standard deviation, and I'm going to get 103.4. There we go. Now, that's not our answer, because if you notice, it's 110 minus A. We need to find A. This is definitely not A. So there's one more step here. We're actually going to have to subtract 110 minus 103.4, and we are going to get minus 103.4, 6.6. If you did round that number, that is fine. If you rounded to 103 and you've got 7, that's absolutely fine. Or if you went up, I would say go to that nearest decimal. However, it doesn't have decimals, so you can do it either way. So A equals 6.6. And that's how you do that. So you have to remember there's that one more step because they don't want just A. Like we were doing the last two problems, we were doing just M. They want you to actually subtract it out. All right, and the last one, 250 pears are weighed. Calculate the expected number of pears that weigh less than 105 grams. So this is bringing us back to normal calculations. They gave us a number of observations, which was 250. What they want us to do is find the probability that X is going to be less than 105. So this is a regular normal CDF. So I'm bringing it back so you don't forget about this. Less than, so we're going to do negative 90,000, our actual value, our mean, and our standard deviation. And I am going to be getting, I'll write it down here, 0.1056. And remember, to get the expected number, we're going to take the total number of observations and multiply it by the probability that we just found. So the expected number is 26.4. Remember, I do want the decimal. I do want that decimal number. If you want to say about 26 people, you can. people, pairs, what am I talking about? If you want to say about 26 pairs, you absolutely can. So this is a pretty good review. We started out with doing a little normal calculations up here where we're given the value. We need to find the percent. Then we moved into inverse normal where we were given a percent less than. We found how many grams are less than. So 10% of the pairs weigh 104.9 grams or less. Then we moved on to 20% more than where we had to find the less than. So we know that now 113.4 grams. 20% now weigh more than that. 80% weigh less. We went on to finding in between, but we had symbols here that they gave us rather than saying in between. So we had to actually -1 divide by 2 and use that inverse norm. We weren't done because they just didn't want that value. They wanted us to subtract to find the value of A. And then we moved back into normal CDF where we found the expected number. That's a big problem. Hopefully it helped. This is it, everybody. Next up, micro lessons, summative, and graduation. Congratulations. Hang in there.